knew what we were doing, but we
BCM went to WTF, and then we were like, F.
LOL.
It's not a math problem, it's a behavior problem. $5,910.07. Like, I walked out of Target and I didn't buy any baby clothes.
Yeah.
$300, $700, and it was fine. And I actually now feel better and proud of myself because I kept a promise to myself and I did what was right. $1,127.
And then
I can do this again.
Punch the elephant in the face.
And I'm never gonna buy any clothes again.
Just take it.
$2,780.75.
Freeze it.
Don't let the house of cards fall. $2,816.94. $30,040.78. $39,489.16. There we go.
Hello. Today we were going to talk about
Tuna salad, tuna salad, tuna salad. Okay, we can do this. We got it. You gonna get followed up? Oh, thanks for the moral support. I appreciate it.
All right, pussycat, get out of my seat.
She listened to you. She doesn't ever listen to me.
Katie's posting a picture on Instagram. Y'all be sure to screenshot these videos as you watch them and tag us on Instagram.
So we can see, and then you can share it with your friends who might also benefit from watching these videos.
Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to a vlogcast, the podcast blog where we talk about everything related to losing our minds and our money.
Go ahead and like this video if you're losing your mind at how off-center this is.
Oh!
Thank you. I saw someone on the last one be like, thank you for making them scoot over. It's driving me crazy. Look, that's so much better.
Oh,
No people's
so much
OCD
better.
isn't gonna drive them nuts. So, hey, we're back. I
Hey.
hope y'all had a great weekend. Dogs think somebody's really at our house. We had a previous 4 videos, if you missed them, on the debt disaster that we are dealing with right now. We went ahead and told y'all everything and all our numbers and all of that. And now we're here to tell you what we're going to do about it.
Then we got out of town. We're like, we're done with this. We're gone. Let's get on the plane and go hide.
We left.
We had a little hiatus. We had a fun trip. Y'all stay tuned for that. It's coming up. We actually did a little bit or a lot of budget talk during the trip. So,
and if you're wondering, like, wait, you just said you're in a bunch of debt, why are you going on a trip? It was a work trip. It was fully paid for, fully paid for down to food and all of the expenses. So that is definitely something that we are incredibly thankful for, to be in the position that we're in and have opportunities through our job to do stuff like that. So Stay tuned and you can see that video coming up. It was a lot of fun and a good little getaway with all the stuff going on. So it was nice to be able to leave our house clean.
It was.
Show it.
I feel like I got hit by a truck. I've talked about this on the podcast, which is live over on Don't Tell Mom.
Your podcast.
Go check it out on Don't Tell Mom. But we talked about traveling with the kids and stuff a little bit over there, and just how I felt like we were gone for like 2 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
Even though it was 2 days. But like,
it was literally 2 nights.
I feel like I got hit by a truck. I got my elderberry tea right here, and let's just
Why don't you make me some of that?
get right into today's topic. We actually sat down to make this video last week before we left on this trip, and then ended up having a budget committee meeting because we realized like we were still so scatterbrained.
Our budget,
We thought we knew what we were doing, but we didn't.
BCM went to WTF, and then we were like, F.
LOL.
Peace out. So basically what we're going to talk about is we're going to kind of break it down for y'all on our debt snowball and how we are planning to attempt that, because I think we told y'all the whole number, but we didn't tell you like specifics of looking at the actual debt snowball and how we are going to address that. So if you're not familiar with Dave Ramsey and his plan, he advises that you make a list of all of your debts from smallest to largest, and you start with the smallest and you pay that one off first. You don't look at interest rates on credit cards or whatever you owe. You pay off smallest to largest, because in that way you're able to see your progress and you're paying off more things quicker. So that I'd rather have, you know, like 1 or 2 large ones at the end versus having like 10 small ones still, and I'm still working on this big one and I feel like I'm not making any progress.
Well, and I think that's a good point to kind of talk about a little bit, is the mentality there, like especially just in this day and age, like you have this huge amount of debt and you see this big large number on this high interest credit card, and so you just are like throwing all your money at that big one. But as far as the mathematics go, mathematically it looks right, I guess, to do it that way in a sense, but personally, or the way you're physically feel when you get those little monkeys off your back.
Yes.
Starting with the small one, and you see the success, then your success rate grows because the snowball gets bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger as it goes down the hill.
Because you don't, I mean, you're paying a $30,000 credit card bill and you're seeing like, you know, 500, 1,000, whatever here and there. And you've still got all these little credit people being like, hey, you owe me $700. Hey, you owe me $2,000. Hey, you owe me this. Hey, you owe me that. And you're not able to pay those off. If you can get all that off, then it's kind of like he made a comparison to if you're trying to lose weight and you start a diet and you start out and it's like, you know, you're guaranteed to lose 10 pounds once you reach 2 months in. But you've got to make all these sacrifices and do all this stuff in the beginning, and you might lose like 1 pound here and there. But then until the 2 months, you don't see the results. But if you start a diet where the first week you lose 5 pounds, and then the next week you lose 5 pounds, and the next week,
like,
you know, you'll be like, oh, this is working, okay. Like I see. So what he says is, it's not a math problem, it's a behavior problem.
Yes.
If it was a math problem and we could solve it, we wouldn't all be in this situation of debt to begin with. It's a behavior problem where along the way you're retraining your habits, you're retraining your spending, you're adjusting to, it's kind of like addiction in general as you're learning how to function throughout your daily life without your substance. It's a process, like a day-to-day process, and you're functioning without.
And then the intensity picks up. Once you get that one little fly off your back, then the intensity to get the next fly off your back happens, and you start sacrificing more to get that fly.
Because you start realizing, oh, I didn't, like I walked out of Target and I didn't buy any baby clothes.
Yeah.
And it was fine. And I actually now feel better and proud of myself because I kept a promise to myself and I did what was right.
And then
I can do this again.
Punch the elephant in the face.
And I'm never going to buy any clothes again. Which actually, we have a ton of hand-me-downs. And a little quick story while Cullen's letting the dog out, who was just ringing the doorbells. We have a ton of hand-me-down clothes for my sister's kids. And ever since I realized what a problem I have with buying stuff, I have stopped buying clothes for my kids. Unless they obviously like need them. I'm not gonna like let them not wear clothes. But we had a hand-me-down the other day that was brand new, still had tags on it, and Gaines, our daughter, said, wait, this still has tags on it. She's like, nobody's worn this before ever? Nobody has? So that shows you how many hand-me-downs she wears. Okay.
Debt snowball. Start with the smallest amount and work your way up.
Did they just want to see my ratty like paper thing?
Yeah, see how she's got it listed out here?
Okay, so here's what I have. And I don't have written next to these exactly what they're for because some of them are like personal things. I don't know, we don't want to share everything. And everybody else's business. We have our smallest one is $300, which actually just came in.
That's for Victoria's Secret. No. I'm just kidding.
How about this? Can I make you a picture of this and you can put it up on the screen so I'm just sitting there and
you'll pause it if you want to see it or give it.
So the $300 actually on top of all those debt videos we were making last week just came in, and it was from some tests and medical stuff that our daughter had done in December.
Yeah, we didn't even vlog about all that. Yeah.
We didn't. That's a whole different thing that we didn't vlog about. But so I do have a question about this once we get into it. But so there's a $300, a $700, $1,127. There's two that are for $1,500, both for separate things. So all those up to that point are things that we owe that don't have minimum payments necessarily. So they're not like on a credit card or something like that where we have a payment plan to somebody. It's just either somebody or a service that somebody did for us, or...
I can say the $700 was the golf cart motor. Mm-hmm. We just sent it in and then they sent us a bill and we haven't paid that bill yet.
So when they repair it, they come and pick up the golf cart and then they drop it back off, and we weren't here, and so they just billed us for it and we haven't paid that. I'm not sure how, let me just go ahead. Mm-hmm. Okay, so then the next one is $2,780.75. And that one does have a minimum payment of $500 a month. The next one is $2,816.94, and that's the one we talked about last week with the IRS. And we'll likely set up a payment plan for that. Although I heard somebody call into Dave Ramsey the other day, and he said, you stop the debt snowball for a minute and you pay them off first, because that's all important to getting your stuff figured out, like with selling the house and all that stuff, and their interest rates. So we're still trying to figure that out with them. I'm not sure how we would have closed on our previous house if we still owed this money, which that's a whole nother thing. I don't know. The next one is $5,910.07, and that is a personal credit card, one that we had from back in the day, and we only used it for gas. We actually kept it after we did Dave Ramsey Financial Peace University in 2008?
Mm-hmm.
And at the time, it was like, okay, well, it's all paid off, so we never had debt on it. It was always a pay month to month, just use it for gas because we got rewards points. And when we finished FPU, we were like, well, we're just gonna keep it because we only use it for gas. Well, that was our first mistake, because while you might have something under control at the moment, and when you're in the right mindset, you get into some type of financial struggle, you get into depression and baby and all kinds of stuff, and it's a crutch. And you
We should put our credit cards in the freezer at the end of this video.
We should, and we do plan to cut them off at the end, cut them up at the end. But I'm like, if we had just cut it up like we were supposed to, and not even had it as an option, then we wouldn't have this extra debt right here, and we would have probably
lived without and been fine.
Yeah, we would have figured it out. So we're gonna do without the gas rewards, and after we pay this off, even though I've had this since I was 18 and I'm 36, so 18 years, I'm gonna give it up. And cut it up.
That emotional connection you get with your credit cards.
Like, I feel bad. I'm like, but you've been with me for so long. Then we have a big jump up to $30,040.78, which is the balance remaining on our vehicle. That's also to be discussed. Minimum payment on that is $929 a month.
And actually, we can lower that minimum payment. That was, we're overpaying.
So that we could pay it off sooner.
But we realized we could lower that minimum payment.
Which doesn't make sense if you're like, why are you gonna do that? But the Dave Ramsey method is you pay minimum payments on all the ones you're not attacking first. So once we pay off the 300 and the 700, then we put the money we're paying on those to the next thing. Okay, and then the last one is the $39,489.16, and that is our business credit card. So we talked a little bit about, somebody asked about the business debt versus personal debt, since we do own our own business and some of this debt is business debt. And we did some research and looked into some Dave Ramsey answers on that. And technically it's all personal debt because we own the business, which is kind of how we've always thought about it. Because I mean, we pay ourselves from the business, so it all kind of goes together. But he was saying that it's still gonna be our responsibility as owners of the business. If they go to like sue you for not paying your bills, it still comes back on us. So
our names are on the...
So we're still kind of mixing it all together, although the two biggest debts are the business debts. I mean, if you look at our personal debt, aside from the business, which is where we were first advised to kind of have some debt to begin with, then our personal debt is a lot lower. So
that's good, that's good.
So, but here's my question.
What's your question, Katie?
My question, Cullen, is like the ones where we have minimum payments. I guess you still go and pay off the ones that you don't have a minimum payment on, and it's not like a payment plan in general. You just still go ahead and pay back the 300 and the 700 and all that. I guess you just pay as much as you can towards it. Like say the first month, you don't have the whole $300 after you've made, because you still have to make the minimum payments on the bigger ones, or else you're gonna get charged late fees and overage stuff, and then they can sue you for not paying your bill and all that stuff. So I guess you still, like we're looking at, if you're looking at the minimum payments we have to pay on everything, I'll add it up real quick and tell you what the total of that is. Okay, so if we're just making minimum payments on the ones that actually have minimum payments, that is $3,243 a month just in the minimum payments. You've got that on top of paying the necessities, utilities, a mortgage payment, health insurance. Since we own our own business, we have to do our own private health insurance, childcare, and gas for the car, whatever the other things are. Sorry. So anyways, my question, I guess, is, I don't know. I don't guess I really have a question other than just, it seems like you would, I don't know. You just start with the lowest one, basically. Because minimum payments, so like for the credit card, that freaking minimum payment for that $39,000 credit card that I just paid about 5 minutes before this video is $1,500 for a minimum payment. Don't get there. Like, don't get yourself in that much credit card debt. Don't let your limit be that high. But so now that I've paid that, that's $1,500 towards that balance, so that'll bring it down to like $3,800. So then the minimum payment next month will be a little bit less, so that'll give me a little bit more to pay towards the lower ones. So I guess it kind of works out.
And I'm not gonna name any names, but we were also told or advised, or whatever you want to call it, that we could take that credit card and what?
I'm not gonna name names. Okay, sorry.
We could take that credit card debt or that whatever and open up a new credit card, basically, and like
a balance transfer.
A balance transfer, and transfer all that so we have another 0 interest for another 2 years or a year or whatever the case may be.
While you're paying it off.
While you're paying it off. But then you got another credit card. Like, it's just...
Well, but I think the reasoning behind that was if you have a credit card bill this high, your interest every month that you're getting charged, I think the last month was like $700 just in interest. Like, we're just giving them that money just for fun. Y'all take $700 for no reason other than the fact that we made stupid decisions. And so I think the initial point of that was that if you transfer it to a 0 interest card, now some people might do that in an attempt to continue to build up more credit. If we're doing it in a sense of paying it off, you're technically like saving yourself $700 a month in the interest.
Well, see, that's what was enticing about it. We're like, oh, and we would pay it off, no problem. Like, you know, like we could get all that. But then you just get in the vicious cycle.
Yeah, so I don't know what Dave Ramsey has to say about that. I assume he says no.
No.
It's not like we would actually be opening a credit card to use it and we would be planning to close it. So I don't know. That's probably even a dumb decision to even consider. But I'm like, if it makes $700 less a month in interest over, because we're not even going to get to that bill. I mean, that credit card bill other than minimum payments for like a year probably. Well, hopefully not that long. So when we took all the debt and added up all of the debt snowball, the total, which we told y'all before, is $86,164.70. And
we put that into one of Dave Ramsey's calculators, and basically you had the long-term estimate of how long it would take you to pay it off.
If you only made minimum payments.
And then you had if you followed his plan, and it was like 2 years and 4 months or something like that.
It was like 28 months, I think, or something like that.
We would have that paid off. So,
and that doesn't count if we were to sell the car.
That would get rid of $1,000 or $929 or $800.
Well, I mean, it'd get rid of $30,000 of debt first of all.
Yeah.
But it would make it so that we could get to this $39,000 credit card bill quicker, because we can pay off the $300, the $700, like all these little ones, and then like, if you're thinking back to the behavioral modification thing, like you're looking at this long list of numbers here, and when you get to where you've only got like these ones left, that just looks, it's obviously a huge number, but it seems so much
more manageable,
or whatever. And then obviously if we sell our house, we plan to put some money we've made on the house to debt or whatever. So I mean, I think in general, if you're looking at this is how long it'll take you to pay it off, we have hopes that we can do this a whole lot sooner than that. We do not intend for this to take 2 years and however long.
I don't think it should.
Everything else that we are doing right now, making money wise, is going towards these payments. So
we are going to attack it.
Yes, so the first step is the $300 one, which I was like, do I even have to add that to it? It's not even late yet. We just got it in. But I guess technically it's debt, and technically it's something we owe. I would imagine it might technically go under the emergency fund and we just go ahead and pay it, but then that defeats the whole purpose of
the emergency fund.
Right, like it's like, well, you're either gonna still have to save up $300 to put back in the emergency fund or just pay the bill. So we'll go ahead and do that. And that's our plan, and we wanna kind of keep y'all posted as we do each of these and let you know when we make payments and like knock off one of these. I wanna make a cute little fancy chart so we can visually see it. I've seen lots of different options out there for those. If y'all have suggestions or ones you've seen you like, leave us a comment below. I know, what's her name, the Budget Mom? Everybody's recommended her, and she has cute little graphics she makes. You're the artist.
I could do it, let's do it.
So maybe you could make us something that represents each one of these things. So she had it like a puzzle almost. So say it was like a car, it'd be a car, and then you have little squares that you color each one in as you pay off a certain amount.
She had a house too, so if you're saving for a house, you could color in the roof of the house, and that was pretty interesting. One of the things that was difficult about making this, and what we kind of talked about in previous videos, is what we do for a living and the variation or the variable income that we have. And listening to Dave Ramsey's podcasts and stuff, he's had several callers call in that are entrepreneurs or own small businesses that have that same type of issue where there's a month to month that varies. He basically said, you know, if you have a general idea of when you're gonna get that money, and that's the thing, is like sometimes a lot of companies are very on point with their payment systems, but other times you're having to, just like any other entrepreneurial freelance job, chase the money or check in with them, or make sure you don't forget to send the invoices or set reminders and all that kind of stuff. And just like before we left for our trip, you might get a payment early.
We got one that
we didn't expect.
Not supposed to come in until like February 20th. And we got it right before we left on our trip, which was like 5 weeks early. So that was a nice surprise. But I think once we're kind of playing catch up to get to a point of even like when this money comes in, this is where it's going. Right now, we're like, when this money comes in, okay, there's this bill that we didn't pay a couple weeks ago that needs to be paid. So then like basically it's all gone. That part of the budgeting process for us kind of getting caught up is where we're at. In doing all this, we do want to share numbers with y'all, and we do want to be open, which is, I know, very unconventional and kind of still even feels like to me like, are we sure this isn't illegal? Because people just don't do it. But I guess it's just kind of personal. But you know, we've shared all kinds of stuff, so we're going to share it. As far as illegal, with a lot of the stuff we do, contractual obligations with brands we work with and with companies, and even with like YouTube, we're not allowed to say, hey, we made this much money on this specific brand deal. We made this much,
yeah,
you know,
we can
like
just give you a number.
We can let you guys know on, okay, here's our budget for the month. We got this $4,000 here, we got $500 here, we got this here, but we won't be able to say what it is or, you know, where it came from. As far as income coming in, we have right now in the next, basically a month, we have
February 20th.
$28,350 that is supposed to be coming in. So you're like, holy crap, $28,000. That's gonna help you a lot. Like, there goes everything. We also have to keep in mind that as the job that we do, December is a big advertising month, and a lot of the brands we work with, you don't just get paid the next day or the next week. Most of them, it's either 30 days from when you post something, or it's 45 days or 60 days. In some cases, 90 days. They may also say it's 30 days, and then 30 days comes and goes, and you're like, hello, where's my payment?
Yeah.
And then some of them, like you said, it's early. So that part of the budgeting, I think, is difficult. The one thing we do know is like the YouTube payments from YouTube.
Those
the
are
YouTube
static.
channel.
I mean, yeah.
That is,
steady.
you make the money in December, and whatever you made in December, you get paid the end of January. So we definitely know for sure what we made in December that we're about to get paid the end of January there. But as we said before, that's a very small portion of our income. The majority of the income is from brands that we work with. I guess the best thing to do in cases like this is look at the ones that we know are supposed to come in. Like we have a couple that are supposed to come in by like the end of the month, very first of January. I mean, February. So look at those and calculate those plus the YouTube income and say, this is what we know we'll have at this point. And then all the rest that are supposed to come in later in February, calculate those towards March, because with this variable income thing, in January, there aren't as many brands and all that stuff.
So it's slower.
So we have to kind of pre-budget and put aside some of that money for March or for...
And see, in the past when we'd had the $55,000 in savings, our nest egg or whatever you want to call it, that we were sitting on, we would get that random $4,500 check ahead of time, 1 month or something, and then be like, okay, let's go to the movies, or let's, you know, and then if we needed to bump into our savings, transfer money over from savings to our checking to make ends meet or whatever for that month, we could do that. But now we don't even have anything in savings hardly, so we can't do that. So we really have to get streamlined as far as all this.
Well, and as you were saying that, I was thinking about how Jordan Page, if y'all aren't familiar with her, she has a lot of budgeting. She has actually a budget boot camp program that she does that's supposed to be super amazing. But she has a bunch of budgeting tips she has, and one of them is having several different bank accounts. Like she even says 7 is the minimum bank accounts that a family should have. And so possibly it might be beneficial for us to have one separate checking account.
Why would she have 7?
You gotta watch her video
I need to watch that.
on this, because it's basically kind of guaranteeing yourself that you're gonna have your grocery money every month, or you're gonna have your whatever.
It's kind of like doing an envelope system, but with accounts.
Yes.
Okay.
So that if you want to use a debit card or whatever, and that's kind of part of it. And she talks about how when they were in the depths of their financial crisis, kind of like where we are right now, she went around and found banks that were offering promos of like, if you open a checking account here, which banks, opening a checking account is not like opening a credit card. You're not going to get in debt from doing it. but we'll give you an extra $100 straight to your account when you open it. And she's like, I went and found all those deals because that's free money. Like there's free money out there.
Yeah.
So she was like, some of our accounts are at this bank and some are at that bank and some are at this bank, but we know where they all are and we use them a certain way.
I'd be like, I'd go to like Regions or something and be like, well, they offered me $200 to open a checking account. What can you do?
And you can, I mean, I imagine you can
barter
do that.
against each other.
Yeah. So, I mean, we need to look into that. We need to watch that, or you need to watch that video afterwards to kind of see. But that might make sense to have, which I think actually is technically what the business account is supposed to be in general, where the money just sits until, but at the point we're at now, we see it and we're like, oh, gotta pay this bill and gotta pay this debt. But maybe it would be beneficial to have some type of separate non-emergency fund savings account, like a savings account just for our business money that comes in. I don't know if y'all have any, those of y'all who do variable incomes have any tips on managing
that'd
that.
be interesting.
That would be helpful.
Another issue we ran into was like we totaled up how much we owed just in minimum payments, and we were like, there's all our money for that month.
And
like,
maybe not even enough.
How are we gonna do that?
Because $3,200 a month in minimum payments on top of like just basic bills and basic groceries, like we're cutting our grocery bill a bunch, but that's where you have to just amp up your intensity.
Well, that's where we were like, let's call Dave and ask him that question, because we were about to call him last week, and then I was like, he's just gonna laugh at us and be like, what's your total household income? Look around, like get your ass off your and start grind and like start selling stuff left and right. And so I started to go wash the golf cart off, and then we ended up having to pack all that stuff. It was the day before we left for our trip. But you did sell a changing table that we don't need anymore, and that lady's supposed to pick that up today. So we've been all over Facebook.
That's where I think with our every dollar budgeting for the month, we go ahead and budget the money that we know is coming in, I guess we don't budget it ahead of time. Once it comes in, we budget it. I don't know. I'm a little bit confused because, I mean, I'm not really confused, but we're so behind right now that it's hard to just go, okay, this is what we have in our account. Let's give it all a name. Because it kind of already has a name. It's easier to
get your paycheck, go to get it cashed, and you have your money in your hands, and then you say, okay, this goes to this envelope, this goes to this envelope, but we don't even have any money to put in envelopes right now, but we have a lot, like you said.
Well, I mean, I'm like, somebody would be like, but you have $28,000 you're supposed to get over the next month. But
that didn't help with tomorrow.
Well, and that's where we've gotten ourselves in trouble in the past, is we're like, okay, that's coming in the next month. Let's make, the minimum payments on things and pay a little towards this and a little towards that. And then you get that itch of like, well, it's not a big deal if I just go into Target and go ahead and buy some clothes because I'm gonna need them or whatever. But no, like that money, we all got plenty of clothes to wear for a minute, and nobody needs to be buying anything other than food and necessities.
And with the money that we're getting from the Facebook Market sale today, you actually have an order place to go pick up. Oh, you need to go pick it up here soon at Walmart.
I got about an hour and 15.
Walmart delivery. Which
a lot of y'all have recommended
that, so thank you for that.
So we'll see how that goes.
See how that does.
I still feel like it's still not cash. Like the other day I had to put back something that was in my cart because I didn't have enough money, and that's just not an option. I do like that in the grocery delivery app, you can sort things priced by lowest to highest, so without having to scan the shelves, I can see what's the cheapest ketchup, and I can buy the cheapest ketchup. And then also the other reason that I did it today was I was like, I won't go in and look and see stuff that I don't need to buy, and the more you get out of the habit of buying stuff, the less you will. So I guess right now we're kind of not even at the point of putting stuff in envelopes,
but we have our plan drawn out and listed out, and we've kind of like mentally focused in on everything.
So the hard thing is though, as money comes in, I want to be like, okay, go to the debt, pay it all off. But we're going to have to figure out taking some out and putting an envelope and using the cash to pay for the things we need, and not feeling like it all just needs to go straight to the debt. That's kind of where we are right now. And as these next few things come in, like we just got that payment before we left on our trip, so I went ahead and did make the $1,500 and $10, whatever it was, payment to that credit card, which didn't leave a whole lot left of that, but it was something that I hadn't paid that credit card bill last month, and so I got charged a late fee. So I didn't want that to happen again. So that all went to that. The money that we spent on our trip that we just went on is money that will be reimbursed, so that will go back into our account, so that's good.
So we're gonna go put our credit cards in some ice water and put it in the freezer, so they will not be in our wallets at all. We've got a fun video talking about how we managed with the cash that we did get out and traveling with the kids and all that, that we went on this past weekend, coming up soon. Probably next video, maybe. Yeah?
Yeah, should be.
And then we will come back to this once we have it all aligned better. We'll actually
making our envelopes
get
and
the
stuff.
app active.
Yeah, we have it downloaded. We got to figure out the app because we go in to put in like how much money or do you have to distribute right now. I'm like,
that's why we had to like write it out because we were like, okay.
Like, what do we do at this point? So we have had lots of awesome, sweet, wonderful people ask in our Instagram comments, like, what can we do to help you guys? Like, obviously we don't want anybody to contribute financially. If we don't get ourselves out of this mess we got in, we're not gonna learn any lessons. We don't want financial contributions. But people were like, can I watch all your ads? Or like, does it help if we like or comment or whatever? And basically, I think one of the best things that you can do to help is to share our videos with somebody that you feel like it might be helpful to, because that way we can reach more people and hopefully help more people. That way they're getting the content.
A lot of questions about like, what are our parents thinking? They've obviously offered to help in the past, and it's the same thing. Like we don't,
no.
We get ourselves into this. We're gonna get ourselves out.
It's part of the process.
Not point and blaming anything. It's just part of the process.
We've had family and friends offer to, you know, help while we're kind of trying to get our feet back on the ground. But if we don't have to go through the struggle of figuring out the way through it, we'll fall back into it.
Right. So there's a GoFundMe link below. Click it. No, I'm just kidding.
No, not really. But we've also had people ask questions too about like, did your parents realize you were in this much debt or you're spending money this way or whatever? Well, first of all, if Dave Ramsey were to hear that question, he would say, what does it matter if their parents knew that they were? They're not, they're grown adults and they're making their own decisions, and that it's not our parents' responsibility to like keep tabs on our spending. It just, basically, it doesn't matter. I mean, obviously they're gonna give us the advice. My parents don't believe in debt and don't believe in holding balances on credit cards and all that stuff. So obviously they're like, well, you know what we taught you. It's your choice to do what you wanna do with it now, so.
We're gonna put on our big girl pants. I mean, I'm gonna put on my big boy pants, and you're gonna put on your little Victoria's Secret pants that you have that credit card.
Honey, I haven't been there in years. I buy Walmart undies, and I'm just gonna have to go with the ones with the holes in them for a while, and it's gonna be fun. But we got a little bit off track. What I was saying is, it's super helpful when you share our videos. Also, make sure that you're subscribed here, and even like on Instagram, you can turn on notifications so that you see our posts when they pop up. And the whole liking and commenting and all that, people always ask if that actually helps. It doesn't actually make us more money, but the way the algorithm and all that stuff works, it allows more people to see the content. Because
stop what you're doing as soon as you get the notification and click on our videos, and because that pops it like pops it up in the algorithm. I don't know, the quicker the video gets the views, as far as the initial views, people get views all the time over time. But as far as like quick views, that really helps and shows up and pops up. Hey, Annabelle.
And of course, we don't expect anybody to have to do this. We're talking to those people that have asked, like, how can we help you? We want to do it with you. So, anyways.
Support the dog treat fund. We need more dog treats.
Ada's like, please give me a dog treat. Oh, there you go. Thank you guys so much for watching and for going on this journey with us. Also, thanks to Debt Free Dana for the mention in her video. Y'all go check out her YouTube account. She has a great account that we just found today, and it looks like she has lots of helpful information. So thanks to her for mentioning our story in her videos.
Thanks, Dana.
We will CYOTDGAF.
DGAF on the flip side.
DGAF.
So, yeah.
We'll see y'all next time.
Thanks, guys. Bye.
Oh my goodness.
Just take it.
Card holder since 03.
Oh my gosh.
That's, what is this, 2020? 17 years. Then once we got married, you went ahead and added your name to that one.
Okay, you can have it. It's not like you can do anything with it anyway. Ha!
It's true. None of them. Well, now actually this one we could use. So we do have to be careful about the things that are set to auto go through on this card because now they'll be able to go through. We both have one of these, our business cards. This was our personal one. This represents $6,000 right now. This represents $39,000 that we owe. And then I even forgot I had this one. Kohl's cardholder since 2017.
Because they talked you into it for that 20% off discount.
Because I was buying $800 worth of clothes and they're like, dang girl, you save $160 if you just open a card today. I'm like, okay. This one doesn't have a balance on it because I did pay it off immediately.
Yeah. You're gonna wake up in the middle of the night, I'm gonna be out here with that blow dryer defrosting on one night. That's enough, that's enough. Not too much, not too much.
I mean, it's stupid, but it's kind of scary. I'm like, but what if I'm out and I don't have gas or something? We'll figure it out.
Cheers.
Should we make them like
cheers.
touch? Look, let's put
Let's
them around
build
the
a little
edges.
credit card house.
There we go.
Room for activities in my wallet now. It's
No.
like not as thick. Top it off.
Don't let the house of cards fall.
Okay, here we go. Yay. All right, thanks for watching. We'll see y'all next time. Bye. Okay, now dump it out.
All right, here we go. I'll put it over in this corner right here. Under all the stuff. Don't fall over, don't fall over. Ah! There we go.
All right.
Okay.
We did it.